had a tough time learning statistics, learning research process, research proposal. Now you come to history. No need of giving my introduction. You all know, but one introduction I should give you. I was a history teacher for 18 years. English and history teacher. So today I have come back to history again. Okay? So you have to excuse me because my voice also breaks. Okay, I'll share my screen. Visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Philosophy and ethical vision of management. Philosophy and ethics. This was not any chapter previously, but after UGC's revised schedule, it has come last year. Now, area of focus of this, my classes, first I'll deal with concept on philosophy, branches of philosophy, ethics in research, ethical issues, concept or consent, additional principles, misconduct in research, challenges, how to report ethical matters, and conclusion. Now, as I said, you'll be bored because it is history. You're coming back to philosophy and history. Philo, if you, in Hindi I will say, Sandhi Vichhed karte hain, so it is philo and sophia. That is philosophy. What is philosophy? The ancient Greek word philosophia was probably coined by Pythagoras and literally means love of wisdom, friend of wisdom. Mainly, we are love of wisdom and friend of wisdom. In deeper sense, just a second. In deeper sense, philosophy is the study of the general and fundamental nature of reality, existence, knowledge, value, reason, mind, and language. You all must be knowing what is philosophy. But in this research journey, mainly philosophy is reality, existence, knowledge, value, reason, mind, and language. In one word, we can answer, philosophy is the rational attempt to formulate, understand, answer fundamental questions. As in your journey of your PhD, you should attempt, formulate, understand, and answer fundamental questions. Now, philosophy is the systematic study of the foundation of human knowledge with an emphasis on the condition of the validity and finding answers to ultimate questions. So you all are thinking, we are going to do research. Some proposal is coming. You have to find answers and your ultimate questions you will find to solve your answer. That is a part of philosophy. Now, can you all identify, if anyone can identify the great philosophers, you can say? Yes? Yes, from you?
Gautam Buddha is
Gautam Buddha, Aristotle.
Yes. Yes. Any more?
That's Immanuel Kant.
So you all have no knowledge of history. Anyway, I'm not wasting time in this.
Please do not remind me of history. Was struggled my entire life in school.
Yes, I said starting only I'm a history teacher. Anyway, these are the noticeable people or philosophers whom we studied in our past. Now, some important questions. What is good? What is beauty? Do we feel free? Do we have free will? Does the world around us exist? What is a person? What is truth? What is evil? Then we come, what is the relationship between mind and body? What is science? Does God exist? What is philosophy? What is love? So all these questions are philosophical questions. So mainly, philosophy is wisdom of love. Socrates, a Greek philosopher, used the philosophy as an equivalent to the search for wisdom. Also, the term wisdom is used as a general term for describing the intellectual probing of any idea. When you do your research, idea comes. You have joined to do research. From that time, you are scrubbing in the ideas. Am I sure? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to do this. I want to do that research. Now, many are thinking I want to do research in COVID. Many are thinking I want to do financial research, NGO research. So ideas are probing in your mind. So we cannot neglect philosophy from research. The term philosophy is taken from the Greek word philos, meaning to love or be friend, and sophy means wisdom. Thus, philosophy means love of wisdom. I think you're not getting bored.
Not at all. Very interesting, man.
Then, how is it to search? To search is to find, to seek something more seriously, more intentionally, more of quest. If you are not thirsty, you will not drink water. Am I correct? So if you are not having that thirst, you will not proceed your future PhD. The object of search is of real value. Of the object refers to a thing known in discussion by subject, pertains to the person dealing with the object. Searching consumes the subject. One observes, reads, reflects, writes on what to him is most important in his life. Searching is a continuous undertaking until the answer is found. So until you reach to your result and discussion, you will not leave philosophy. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When you write the last chapter, you will remember today's lecture.
So, ma'am, are we saying that when we are in the pursuit of research,
Yes.
and when we are trying to find an answer to a research question,
Yes.
we are searching the literature to find the answer. Are you saying this process is related to the word philosophy?
Yes.
Because it is also connected
because you
to.
will be reading. You will be reading authors. You will be reading articles. These all are the search of philosophy.
Okay, super. Okay, ma'am. I'm able to connect the dots. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Now you connected philosophy and ethics. That is good.
Madam,
Yes.
is it because of that that ultimately at the end of the journey we get the degree of doctorate of philosophy? Is it?
Yes. Yes.
Very good
100%
point,
correct.
Raja sir. Very good point.
100% correct.
Okay, that is how the dots connect. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Now,
So,
importance of
ma'am,
yes.
how if we want to say in very simple lay terms, how would we define philosophy for a person?
Philosophy, I said, love of wisdom.
So it's a matter of wisdom of any field.
Yes.
So wherever you seek wisdom from
Yes.
any field, that would be
Love and
philosophy.
wisdom are two main important words of philosophy.
I have got a question.
Now let me proceed. Importance
That
of
means at
philosophy.
the end of
Why philosophy is important? The study of philosophy enables us to think carefully and create about important issues. Clarity about important issues. In studying philosophy, we learn to take a step back from our everyday thinking and to explore the deeper, bigger question which underpins our thought. Focus in the study of philosophy is to learn what we are, what we believe, but how to think. Studying philosophy sharpens your analytical abilities, enables you to identify and evaluate the strength and weakness of any position. It's honest your ability to construct and articulate, that is, articulate your covert research. What is covert research? It's an investigation strategy in which the researcher's professional identity and academic intentions are hidden in either partially or fully from those in the study. Okay? So, it prompts you to work across disciplinary boundaries. Construct and it is if honest, your ability to construct and articulate, it went away. Arguments, that is, important arguments of your own. Because of philosophy is an activity as much a body of knowledge, it also develops your ability to think and independently give value to it. Okay? Then you can see a tree. This is the branches of philosophy. You happen to go to all the branches. Here ethics is there, realism is there, idealism is there, logic is there, theology is there, metaphysics is there. Detail you haven't to go through. Mainly you can see you have to go through ethics. Now, main branches of philosophy, like most academic fields, actually consist of several main branches, but 4 of them are very important for you. Metaphysics, logic, epistemology, and axiology. Now, axiology is study of value. That is ethics. Now I will come to ethics. Because you have seen the breakup, it is philosophy and ethics. Ethics studies the question how we should act politically and philosophically. Now, historically, philosophical concerns have been ethics, logic. Now, those who have done graduation, they know that if they have taken philosophy as a subject, honors, intermediate, we are taught as logic. In that field, logic, deductive logic. Then we come to metaphysics, such as branch of politics, political science. Epistemology, sub that is ethics. Ethics is also known as value. Mainly we have to focus on ethics. Now, this I had given you yesterday. How many of you all honestly have gone through?
Yes, ma'am, I have gone through entirely.
Now I want your.
I have also gone through, ma'am.
I went
I want your
through.
inputs in this.
Ma'am, I was actually following up the vaccine progress in India for some time, given my family being there.
Yeah.
So I have read it earlier and I reread it yesterday.
Ma'am, what I foresee is, ma'am, this is a little dated, and it talks about AIMS not giving across the rights for that trial yet. But as on date, what we see is that AIMS has allowed the test to go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
They've already started the human trial phase.
This is the old paper cutting. Let me hear from everyone, then I will come back to this.
Ma'am, it was just about the ethical issue which got highlighted.
Yes.
Highlighted.
Yeah.
Yet 5 ethical committees yet to recommend.
In fact, a similar thing got highlighted with this recent one as well, ma'am, by the Ayush Mantralaya on the COVID.
Yes.
For the Patanjali,
Patanjali.
Yeah.
They wanted to create a vaccine.
And they absolutely questioned exactly the similar thing what AIMS has questioned. So yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Tell me.
On reading the article, my personal perception is that the persons who are in power or the politicians, they cannot give a deadline or they cannot dominate the ethical research issues.
Yes. Very good.
True.
Personal interest of few people have been to be involved in the entire case.
Research.
It's all about
I want some answers
politicizing
from
it.
Mr. Arnab.
No, ma'am, this is it's a very major issue, ethics in this trial of medicines. In fact, some of the organizations who are connected with development of these vaccines have earlier also been, allegations have been leveled against them of practicing unethical methods. There is a foundation behind it. I don't want to name that. So there are lots of issues involved.
Lots of ethical issues.
And yes.
Madam,
Which I don't want ethically.
Ethics standards have to be followed. If the ethics standards are not followed, then there are questions of integrity perspective.
Absolutely, yes.
Here,
anyone else?
What I found is.
Yes, please switch on your video so I can see.
It is a threat. It is a threat to the scientific regulatory body.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually my network is very bad. It's quite unstable. I'm on and off. So please allow me to.
Carry on.
So, So what I have understood here is, though the ICMR is the main body to really lead the medical research in India, but they are the one with the sponsorer. They are trying to launch these vaccine trial, but the way this whole thing has been progressed, where the 12 sites are selected, and out of some sites, few ethical review committee or a board have approved and few have not approved. So it also shows the capability of each ethical review committee within the site and hospitals. And also there has been questioned that why, if there are leading government institution, medical institution, why these private sites have been chosen.
Yes.
So and some places it has been approved, some places the review has been going on, and some they have raised the question that if the age of the sampling, the age where it is 12 to 65, then why the children have been excluded. I'm not sure, but this is how I have also.
Yes. That's one ethical point. Why the below level?
Ma'am, I would just like to add something.
Yes.
Actually, the thing is that in medical research, any medicine or a vaccine to be available for public use, it has to have 3 clinical trials, and there is a protocol for clinical trial 1, 2, and 3. So
There's
actually,
three minimum critical trials.
and
There are
that
5
has
actually.
to be, and yeah. But for certain cases, it has to be 3.
3 minimum.
Yeah, correct. So basically, the thing is that because of the government's objective to like have some populist measure, actually the thing is that they are rushing and pushing pressure on the researchers that they should waive off or fast track all the 3 clinical trials, or you can say that without conducting the proper clinical trials in the as per the protocol, and still make the available the vaccine for public use. So the major ethical issues in this is like it has got 3 stakeholders. First is the government, which is pushing the agencies to go for the make available the vaccine for public use. The second is on part of the researchers who are actually going to do the research, and knowingly that yes, these vaccines have not been conducted as per the research protocols, but is still making it available for the people.
Good.
I want to add to this. I want to add to this. Why there is a pressure on the researchers? Why?
Yeah.
See,
Ultimately,
ultimately, it all boils down to revenue. It all boils down to corporate governance.
Yes.
Okay, companies are under tremendous pressure on revenue. कैसे भी हो sales करने पड़ेगा, revenue लाने पड़ेगा. So if this is the objective, to get the maximum sales, maximum revenue, come what may, put a gun on the temple of the researchers. बंदूक एकदम लगा दो कि boss, if you are not doing, you will be fired.
Yeah.
So there is a tremendous pressure on the scientists to deliver. If as of yesterday, not in future. That's the pressure, because I know a whole lot of people from the pharma industry with whom I am connected from the CFO field, and they are saying that's a research and development R&D department is under fire from the chairman, board of directors, MD, CEO, everybody, that you have to deliver. Kaise bhi ho, how you deliver is not important. There is to be delivered. Corporate governance, ethics, integrity can wait.
Jaideep,
Now you have to get revenue.
I would like to add to that.
Wish is also there.
Add to Jaideep's point, while there is a revenue pressure on every organization today, there is also a pressure of global politics, which is also driving every country to move faster towards the vaccination process. That is where the lobbying between the corporates and the politics is creating an additional environmental parameter to avoid the ethical, to bypass the ethical processes and all of that.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
you know,
just to add on to
that, vaccine took around 23 years.
Yeah, just to add on to that, what Simi ma'am has said. So I am closely working with Bharat Biotech. So they are one of our corporate clients with Kotak. And this is the story that, from one of the people from finance department have shared with us, that as Joydeep sir has rightly said, it is the pressure to create the profitability, because Indian pharma market has always been the manufacturer of API. And this is the first time opportunity that a bigger pharma company is getting, that they want to create a vaccine which could be utilized across the globe. And they want to put the stamp on it that it's made in India. So as Simi has said, that it is a international political pressure. And as Joydeep has said, that it is a corporate governance. So it is a accumulation of many other issues coming.
Okay. Just
exactly.
We are deviating from our point. S. Shubhendu want to say something?
I wanted to say, ma'am, Dr. Rumna.
Yeah, who?
Pradeep Tiwari.
Yeah, tell me. Then
okay, there are two aspects to it. One is the technical aspect and one is the assumption aspect, and the right assumption. So technical aspect is two things they they spoke about in the article. About, number one is the format, the technical problems with the format means they have allowed for the trials, but they have not taken the approval for the children trial part. They have not submitted that. So technically, it was one flaw. There was another point which was raised on the technical aspect is the selection of sites.
Yeah.
Right? These two are technical, and then yes, then there is also the article talks about the threat, the letter, ICMR letters
Yes,
look
yes.
like a threat to the. So it was like the pressure what Mr. Joydeep and all others spoke about. So it's all connecting the dot. So net is both the technical issues in terms of presenting it. There must be some hurry up thing in which they have done, and secondly, they've not put their mind onto the work due to XYZ reasons.
Okay. Now, two things mainly here is out of 12 institute, the ethics committee of 5 of them are still evaluating the trial design. Now, my main point is, now y'all will be getting pressure as your journey. Don't forget the ethical issues. That is why, as somebody said, na, gun, banduk rakh rahe hain aap, you do your research. Isn't it? Joydeep had said. Similarly, in your research journey, you will get lots of pressure, but don't forget about the ethics. Clear? This
And
is
then
what
just wanted to add one thing here, that in this article, if you see at the end also, which is perfectly right, that even if we bypass all this and make this vaccine, US FDA will never approve it unless they go through the whole process.
Yes. We will
So
never
the same issue.
We will never
Same
approve
issue is with the research also. We may go bypass and make a thesis, but ultimately it gets stuck to the committee because they will go through the whole process.
Yes. Okay.
But ma'am, there is also a issue with the restrictions that we have imposed on account of this disease. Now, the question of how long can you prolong a lockdown? And perhaps there also there is an ethical question. Now, there are no ways of assessing that because there are no protocols there in the lockdown administration.
Okay, now I'll shift because we are deviating. Now, let me come to the inner meaning of ethics. It is a branch of philosophy dealing with values relating to human conduct with respect to rightness and wrongness of certain actions, of what is good and what is bad. In Webster's dictionary, the discipline is dealing with what is good and what is bad. You all know what is ethics, but still I'm reminding you what is good, what is bad, with moral duty and obligations. Business ethics considered the ethical relations between business and stakeholders, consumers, suppliers, competitors, community employees, etc. Now you see in the Oxford Dictionary, ethics, the Greek word ethos, referring to character and individual behavior. Your character will refer your behavior. Ethics is the science of moral, concerned with character or right or wrong or goodness or badness. Tenet, that is doctrine held by a group or a person. In business, other terms used in place of tenet include value, belief, and principle. Which word works best? Business ethics include practice and behavior that are good or bad. Now, David in 2015, commonly, in a common way, he has defined ethics while carrying a duty is that it can be defined as a code of professional conduct, norms of conduct, and distinguish between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. We see the three things: metaethics, normative ethics, and applied ethics. What is meta-ethics? Concerning the theoretical meaning and referring to moral propositions and how the truth value can be determined. Normative ethics concerning the practical means of determining a moral and force of action. Applied ethics concerning what a person is obligated to do is a specific situation or a particular domain of action. Now you see three approaches to ethics: deontology, ethical skepticism, and utilitarianism. Now what is deontology? Deontology is nothing. Duty is the basic of all action. Then what is teleology? Teleology. Actions can gain only judge on the basis of consequences they produce. Utilitarianism. Central concern is the right welfare rather than individuals' interests. You are not supposed to see only your interests. You have to see the general and welfare interest in your research procedure. Now, who are the stakeholders in research? Participant, researcher, funding body. Funding body is not applicable for y'all because y'all are yourself funding body. Funding body is referred to that when we get a project, suppose NABARD has given a project for research or some company given a project for research, that is funding body. Or UGC is giving you some remuneration for a research, postdoctoral, doctoral, that is funding body. Mainly your concern is participant and researcher. You both are the stakeholders. Now in ethical dilemmas, a more is likely to arise of qualitative research more so than in a quantitative research. Now in quantitative research, you collect data, you do cross-sectional, longitudinal. There are many issues which you solve quantitatively. But when you do qualitative research, that time more of ethical dilemmas arise. And I think hardly anybody of you all will do qualitative research. Mainly you will collect data and do research. Now, there was a social research committee who had given research should be designed, reviewed, and undertaken to ensure integrity and quality. Research, staff and subject must be mostly involved about the purpose, method, intended possible to use of the research, their participation, exceptions, some variation may be acceptable. Main thing which is that is confidentiality of information, which I'm dealing in the next slide. Research participants must participate in a voluntary way, free from any coercion, exception that is covered research, that is quality research. Deception may be acceptable. That deception word I'll come in next slide. Harm to a participant and independence. This I'll do next. Now, you have 4 P's of marketing. This of now 5 P's of ethical management was given by Blanchard and Pilley. Purpose, your personal vision. That is, you should know your vision. Pride, your sense of satisfaction. Patience. Sometimes it is a long run, long road. Here I will share my experience. Though it is very old, but this patient word should be with all the researchers. I'll share my experience. I was in 1986, just after MPhil, I enrolled myself in PhD in Indian School of Mines. You all are aware. I enrolled myself there. My work was going on very nicely. In 1989, when I went to submit my PhD thesis, my guide expired, co-guide expired, and guide, he met with a thrombosis attack. He was mentally upset, and there was no one in the, because that time it was newly management department, no one was there in the university to guide me. My journey ended there. So I couldn't proceed with my PhD. But I had the passion and the patience that I will do. Somewhere or the other I will do. Again, after 10 years, I re-registered myself from Vinoba Bhave University, and I was the first PhD to be awarded in 1999. So you can see that 10 years journey was my PhD journey. Here also we have some scholars, those who have registered in 2012, something or the other. Only 2 scholars left now, but one scholar, he struggled, and after he re-registered after 6 years, he submitted his PhD last year. So you have to have patience. I'm not telling that you be like me, but you will complete within 4 years. But you have to have patience. अरे यार मेरा PhD नहीं हो रहा है, छोड़ दे, 2 साल बाद मत बोलिएगा. Have patience and be patient to complete your journey. Then next P is persistence, standing your ground. Perspective, be focused and clear. There is no pillow soft, but you have to wear it. Clear? Any question here?
No, ma'am.
I told you, it's history.
But it's very inspiring, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Employee-employer relations, employee-employee relations, company-customer relation, company-shareholder relation, community public interest. This, everything you have learned in detail in HR or your marketing. So I'm not dealing in detail. Now, sources of ethical norms. Who are your sources? Fellow workers, region of your company, your profession, employer, society at a large, religious belief, law, friends, family, fellow workers. You cannot say, "Arey, humne PhD kar liya." You are not doing your PhD alone. You are getting your PhD degree, but with all which I just coined in the PPT, individually is there, but everyone is related. This is sources of ethical norms. Now, 4 important questions. What is? What ought to be? How do we get from what is to ought out to be? And what is our motivation for acting ethically? Now, connection to ethical behavior. Internals are more likely to see the connection between their own behavior and customer outcomes, and therefore take responsibility for the behavior. Therefore, internals are more likely to do what they think is right. Now, 6 ethics of life. Before you pray, you believe. You believe in some God. Then only you pray.
Sorry, ma'am, this is Simi. Can we go back to the previous slide once?
Yes. This.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Here, what would I want to say? That is, wherever you are working, externally people will not intervene. Your responsibility is your behavior. Your internal people are most likely to do what they think is right. Suppose you are working very hard for your PhD, but you're not allowed to work. You get hindrance. There you have to ethically manage them. Clear, Simi?
Madam?
Yes.
I have a question. See,
yes.
We're talking about personal, individual ethical behavior that we need to have.
Pardon, I cannot hear. Be a little louder.
Yeah, you are talking about individual, ethical behavior.
Yes.
Suppose we are working in an organization, all of us are working in an organization, and as per the organizational directives, I have to go to some other clients or maybe suppliers, and then I have to enter into some kind of an agreement,
yes,
which is against my personal beliefs and ethics. But as I am been working in an organization, I have to actually follow the the directives. So how it contradicts my individual ethics, but for the organizational ethics, probably I do not know. I have to enter into such kind of things.
You know that organization is going for a wrong thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you cannot, because you have to keep your job.
Yeah, then it gets violated. I mean,
it gets violated. Yes. Just here
so in those situations, should I say, okay, I would not be doing it because it's not something that I should be doing.
Somewhere you have to compromise, but I am telling, for your research, you don't compromise. Here, just I would like to cite an example. There was one principal, long back case. He had to sign an 5 lakh rupees check to give to some publisher. And that person did not sign the check. He was sacked from that. But you cannot go to court. She left the job. So this is one way, though ethics is there, but my focus is that ethical behavior in your research. Yes, correct?
Madam?
Yes.
The issues which we are just discussing, the problem raised by our participant, এই ধরনের ইস্যুগুলো কি আমরা ethical dilemma issues বলি?
Yes, not in Bengali, please.
These situations we tell as ethical dilemma.
Yes, you can term it as ethical dilemma.
Okay.
So now, 6 ethics. Wait, I hope I'm not running short. Before you pray, you believe. Before you speak anything, you listen. Then you speak. Before you spend, you earn. Here, cut your coat according to your cloth. When we were in school, we used to be told. So before you spend, you earn money. Before you write, you think. Before you quit, you try. Before you die, you live.
The golden words, ma'am.
These are the
This is
golden
beautiful.
words. Now, one more thing I'll tell you. Ramakrishna Dev has said, when you speak out, you cannot take out. It was in Bengali. When you speak out, think you speak and speak out, because you cannot take it back. Many can understand Bengali. I'm telling in Bengali. Ostadar jokhon khulibe, bhabiya khulibe, bhabiya bolibe. Otherwise, you will fall in trouble. That is, before you speak, you think and speak. Because those words, you cannot take it back. Clear? Before you speak, listen. Before you write, think. Before you quit, try. You are getting, अरे मेरे से PhD नहीं हो रहा, हम भाग जाएंगे. Don't quit. Try again until you reach the goal. Before you die, you live. These are the 6 ethics of life. Now, some risk. Subject's right and integrity. Subject's personal and social standing. Individual privacy. Personal values and belief. Subject's links to family and wider community. Subject's occupational status or position. Implication of relieving illegal sexual or development behavior as individual, as a whole, communities or categories in people. Now, this you should remember. I'll deal in detail. Voluntary participation, informed consent, component, deception and procedure. No harm to the subject. That is, when we do research, we will not harm to our participants. Now remember the word PAC.
Ma'am, if I may, what's the meaning of component deception?
I'll come to the next slide. PAC, privacy, anonymity and confidentiality. This is the main function of the research. You have to maintain privacy. Before publishing or before submitting your thesis, do not share your data, do not share your things which you have collected, that is your publications, your whatever research studies you have done, anonymity, and you have to maintain confidentiality. I'm coming in detail. Yes?
Ma'am, I have a question around this privacy and confidentiality.
Yes.
From a UGC regulation perspective.
Yes.
So for example, I'm a researcher with ICFI University. I am doing the survey and gathering information. Yes. And when I'm gathering information, many of my respondents, even though I have given the name as optional, has given their names.
Yes, Simi, I'm coming to that point. Next slide.
Okay.
How to maintain privacy.
No, my question was not around how to maintain privacy. My question was more around if the researcher is keeping all of that gathered information in his or her laptop, and that laptop gets breached, because of which some private data goes out, which is subsequently used for a fraud exercise, right? Yes. And it gets, through forensics, it gets back in, traces back into the researcher. Now the researcher is registered with ICFI. So who will be held in the laws of, in the eyes of the law, who will be held as the person to go into the court and testify?
No, Simi, here privacy means protecting your data. It's fine. But privacy means you are telling your computer get corrupts. So here I will cite my example. You know, when we were doing our research, we did not have computer facilities and all. We had small paper where we had to write from whatever we are collecting, research review and all, we had to note it down. So we had a backup. Okay? Now, this I had sent yesterday. Just, you see, ethics, the day you start your journey of PhD, everywhere is ethics is there. You can see arrow mark on research proposal, sampling, data collection, instrument development, data collection preparation. In the left, right hand side, there are given participation reception, participation's right to consent, a sponsor's right to research. So these everywhere, in every step of your research.
Ma'am,
yes.
Here your voice got broken because of network problem.
Yeah. Now it's all right? Yes, now it's all right?
Yes, ma'am,
yeah.
it's all right.
Yes. So this right hand side, you go through, later on also, it is also in your Swadhyay portal. I have described main thing, design, proposal, strategy, sampling, data collection, everywhere ethics is there. Clear? Now you see, this I was discussing some important focuses, areas is harm, informed consent, confidentiality, deception, reporting results, and plagiarism. Have to be fast. Now you see, ethical issues concerning research participation. Now when you collect the data, your responsibility is you make the participants clear that the undertaken research is beneficial for society and only relevant information would be collected. Now see, when I collected my data, my participants were executives and non-executives of BCCL. And non-executive means those who are working underground. Here I think Rajesh ji will understand nicely. So that time it was going to be declared as BFI, sick university, sick institution. And there was a communication gap between executive and non-executive. That implication hampered in my study also. Because executive knew everything. Communication gap with the non-executive. So when I went to collect data, they were not sharing with me many information. अरे आप तो जाके हम लोग को हमारा बॉस हमारा चेयर पर जो बैठे हैं उन लोग को बोल देंगे. So here, when you collect the data, you must clearly explain to them for what you are doing your research. It is beneficial for the society and only relevant information would be collected. Now, especially those who do scientific research and medical research and all, to collect data is very, suppose they are collecting data of blood, sputum, when they go to remote places, especially anthropologists, they face a lot of problems. They have to clarify. And nobody will give you data. So university provides you one letter. Before you collect the data, university will give you a if you all need a letter which will be explained for what you are collecting. One of my scholars collected data from 3 hospitals, that is Nanavati Hospital, 3 hospitals in Bombay, Nanavati Hospital and other 2 cardiologist department. He was, so I had to, Vice Chancellor had to give a letter to the hospital directors. He was collecting data for patients, participants, then your those who deal with the medicines, that is pathological department. So this was a problem when he was facing. Later on, when everything was given, he didn't have any problem. So that is one issue where you all will be faced, but it will be sorted out. Then seeking consent. Suppose a customer doesn't want to give you data. Leave it. Don't pressurize him.
Ma'am, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So for
louder, I cannot hear.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Ritu, na?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So my question is, if when we do a research,
yes,
so the ethical approval will be from the university first.
Yes.
Okay, and then after that, if there are different sites, then we have to take a permission from those institutions.
Yes.
Okay.
As I collected data, I had to take permission from personnel department.
Okay, ठीक है.
So, ma'am,
yes.
So, ma'am, the part that consent has to be in a written format, or is it like the express consent, like the way we explained to them before filling up the question?
Just a format. Informed consent. Group center is attending now. Informed consent implies that subjects are made adequately aware of the type of information researcher want, why the information is being sought, what purpose it will be put to, how they are expected to participate in the study, and how it will directly or indirectly affect them. Now, one more I think I'll share here. When I went to collect data, I had to go to all executives level, especially higher executives, that is E7, E8 rank. It was really very hectic. 1 year I took time to collect the data. Then, what the researchers, this is very unethical, providing incentives. Somewhere, practices there, they provide incentive. It is unethical to provide any sort of incentive to the respondent for their participation. Participation should not take part in the research because of privilege, but because of realizing the importance of the study.
But
Clear?
ma'am,
yes,
we find several research agencies. They actually send this forms across over mail, and they also say that okay, you participate in this particular study, and for this you are going to get some kind of incentives or something like that.
That is unethical issue they are doing, na?
But ma'am, when we are doing a research, say, involving very poor and marginalized people, say self-help groups. Now, these self-help groups are often subjected to some kind of the research or the other. So what is their motivation, to come up and give their responses?
Why will they give? Why will they fill your form? That's your question, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Here you have to, I am saying that unethical is mainly sometimes what the people do. They outsource your data collection.
Okay. No,
that
that's
is main
not
thing.
correct.
That is main thing.
Okay.
You are not collecting the data, you are giving some agencies to collect your data.
That is wrong.
That's
That
wrong.
is wrong. That is very wrong.
Perfect.
Now,
Ma'am,
as I did my MA in psychology, you know, we have to deal with people. A subject used to be called, and experiment used to be done. There, when I used to call small kids and all, I used to give toughies and all. Cadbury diye aa rahe, Cadbury denge tum mera answer kar do. Especially interest test, intelligence test, all these things. And in that time, not now, 86, 89, America and all, they used to give incentives for people, mean subjects को बुला के हम लोग का काम करना पड़ता था, so they used to give money to them. That's different. Here I'm telling outsourcing.
Ma'am, actually, I have just two different experience in relation to incentives.
Yeah.
One situation, what Mr. Arnav was highlighting, that people can't afford, because if they have to come to a place, if we are, even though it is a field study, but we may not be going to house, they may have to come, for which they have to maybe lose a daily wages.
That you can get as
So
a conveyance allowance.
So in some places they said that even that it has to be completely voluntarily, and we cannot give. Some places they say is that you can take care of their travel cost, and if they have to wait for a whole day, khana pina and all that, but not the per day what they're losing the daily wages. So what is now when we say, you know, what is ethical and what is
I am telling the main what I am focusing is, किसी को आपका क्वेश्चनर दे दिया, 10,000 रुपया दे दिया, वो क्या करेगा? वो अपने आप डेटा फिल कर देगा. उसको 10,000 मिल गया, किसी का नाम से डेटा फिल करके आपको दे देगा. That will not be valid for your study, na? My say is that. Okay.
Ma'am, are referrals allowed? Like I tell the participant, you refer another participant. Is that
Pardon?
Are referrals allowed? Like if I ask the participant that you refer another participant.
Yeah, that is allowed. Referrals is allowed. Yes.
Okay.
How can you proceed without referral? If you want to collect data from ICFA University MBS candidates, they will not give you unless I tell as a coordinator.
Yeah.
Now, here I have one more thing I will just cite. Recently, somebody from Hyderabad had come to our institution to collect data. So, he collected the data, and then in the canteen only, he gave money and they had free lunch. That is something different. Clear? Somebody from Hyderabad had come to collect data.
Yes.
I think somebody from Hyderabad, not from ICFA University, some other business school. That is a different thing. Okay. Now, seeking sensitive information. Now, you see, some information may seem sensitive and confidential to the participant, as such as questions on sexual behavior, drug use, etc. It is not unethical to ask questions as long as the researcher requires those information. The researcher should ask sensitive questions and frame clearly with non-judgmental approach and give sufficient time to decide whether they want to participate or not. Now, you can see here.
Madam, last slide I had a question.
Yes.
Madam, here you are talking of the sensitive data. So the data which is available in the public domain, we can access those data. If we are looking for data which are sensitive to the organization, so we always have to get the prior approval from the organization before we publish?
See, whenever you go to collect any data in any organization, you have to take prior approval from the director. Clear? Now, possibility of causing harm to the respondent. This is not very important for your research, because mainly medical researchers face this. So I'm skipping the slide. Now, maintaining confidentiality. Information should not only be used in research purpose, personal information must, my God, I'm over time. In such personal information of the participant or information can harm the individual should remain confidential. In such cases, anonymity of the participant should be ensured. I'm skipping. Here, this also not important because you all are not funding. Now, main misconduct, plagiarism, fabrication, and falsification, non-publication of data, faulty data gathering procedure, poor data storage and retention, misleading authority, sneaking publication. Now, what is plagiarism? Using other people's work without acknowledging their contribution. Now, this
Can you
plagiarism.
go back to the previous slide?
Wait, this previous slide is only I'm dealing now.
Okay.
This was summary, now I'm dealing now. Now you see, plagiarism will be detailed by Dr. Pallavi or Dr. Nidanish, but in our time, we couldn't do plagiarism. Why? We didn't have computer to copy paste. We had to write. But now, everyone has the habit of copying and pasting. Yesterday it was, you saw that certificate of Mr. Sushmit. He had 1% plagiarism. Abhay Kumar had 0% plagiarism. So my request is, you all also try that. I will not accept 10%. Yes, university accepts, many universities. But you try to bring it down from 10 only. Here, one of our thesis was rejected of plagiarism. Not our, other university. Because he had 80% plagiarism. Some other university, I have the information. So avoid plagiarism. Fabrication and falsification is making up results and recording or reporting them. This is sometimes referred to as dry labbing. Falsification is manipulating research material, equipment, process. Many people manipulate the data, but somewhere you are caught. Non-publication of data. Data was suppressed. It is not ethical to ignore exception and just try to explain to oneself the reason for the exception. You cannot say the reason for exception. If machines, this is for scientific research, that is faulty data gathering. If machines are not calibrated correctly, if subjects do not follow procedure correctly, if untrained research may give different instruction, so there you collect the data wrongly. Poor data storage and retention should be available for verification of others. Misleading authorship, people take credit who really make very little contribution to the study. Wait. But show off करता है कि मेरा study है. Here, I had asked my scholar recollect the data. When he had sent the data to me, I could understand. I said, please send, after his pilot study, I said, please send your data to me which you had collected. Now he is an associate professor in Mr. Amir, Dr. Amir Hussain. He is a professor in Bangalore Acharya College. When he had sent the data, I could understand that the data was manipulated. So I had asked him, I said, I will clear off these data. I had asked him to recollect again. So you have to see that don't do faulty gathering. Now, last slide, keep in mind honesty, objectivity, integrity, carefulness, openness, respect for intellectual property, confidentiality, responsible publication.
Ma'am, can you explain the point 3, that suppressing?
Pardon?
Point number 3 in the
Integrity.
last. No, not here. The last slide. The suppression of data.
Non-publication of
yeah.
data. Data was suppressed. It is not ethical to ignore. Somewhere you ignore that few data, few questions. Just try to explain to yourself only the reason why you are for the exceptions.
So
Clear?
This is not allowed. Whatever data you collect, you have to publish.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In your publication, you shouldn't give fake data. Clear?
No, but here it is not fake. It is that he has eliminated some data.
Yes. Okay.
So that is not fake, but he cannot. He has to publish everything. Okay.
Now these are the keywords. Now quiz. Now tell me in what mode I will take the quiz. I want suggestion from you all. If I go to that quizzy mode, it will take time. So
take in Google form. Google form.
No Google form.
Can appear later also.
My innovative idea. Yes. I am giving the instruction. Please answer the multiple question. You answer, send your answer in my WhatsApp number or email within 10 minutes of the last question shown. But here I am, and it will be your name, 1B, 1C, 13, 3A, all like this. Clear?
Right, ma'am. Yeah.
Now,
ma'am, can we send in WhatsApp also?
Yeah, my WhatsApp number. Not in the group. My WhatsApp number.
How many questions, ma'am? How many questions?
Of course, 10 questions. Yes. First slide. Integrity and transparency are fundamental. Just see the slide. Ethics in business, requirement in research, ethical principle in research, methodology in research, which is not a branch of philosophy. I am given very easy questions. Metaphysics, logic, ethics, and physics. What are some of the frequent frustration in writing or reading about the research ethics? Writer differs over what is ethically acceptable. The same debate are researchers over decades. Cases of ethical violations tentatively be linked with certain researchers' method, all the above. Ideally, the research participants' identity is not known to the research. This is called anonymity, confidentiality, deception, desensitization. desensitization. With your permission, I will shift to next slide. When all
No, ma'am, please wait. Please wait.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Pallavi ma'am, I'm taking your class.
Madam.
I know it is
Yes. Already 20 minutes is gone, ma'am.
I know.
Ma'am,
Today is Sunday.
Ma'am, the participants can take a snapshot of these questions and they can see and later they can reply.
Yeah, that also you can do.
Through mobile, you can take a snapshot of these questions and you can use it. You can see the options and you can reply through mail or through WhatsApp.
It will end, I think, only in 1 minute if you allow, ma'am. It will end only in 1 minute if you allow.
Fine. They can take the snapshot.
Yes, madam. Please go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide.
What is it called?
What it is called when the participants are not able to anyone.
What is called when the participants are not revealed to any one of the one but researcher and staff? Okay, taken the snapshot.
Wait, ma'am. Why?
We are completing over here.
When we're completing it, we'll just send it after that.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
I told you take the snapshot.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, we will answer and send
30
it.
seconds more, please. 30 seconds more.
Okay, ma'am, let them take their time because actually it contains marks. So let them do it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Next slide.
Yes. Next slide.
No, wait.
Okay.
Ma'am, please wait, ma'am.
I'm shifting to next.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, Pallavi ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
1 hour is not sufficient. That day only I should have told.
Yeah. I understand, ma'am. 1 hour is not sufficient.
Principal ethics both, na?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how far I could.
So, ma'am, I have to wind up within my time limit, or can I extend?
No, you can extend.
Okay, fine.
Because today is Sunday. Nobody will go to office.
I need the cooperation of everybody, then only it will be possible.
I can't switch off the video. Stop the video.
Madam, I have sent you by WhatsApp.
Okay, I'll see it. And send you the feedback just after time.
Ma'am, send you by WhatsApp.
Ma'am, I've also sent you by WhatsApp.
So I'll shift. I'll stop the share.
Ma'am, sent you by WhatsApp.
I'll stop the share.
Yes. We will WhatsApp to your personal number.
Personal. I'm stopping sharing.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.